Hello, thank you for calling. How can I assist you today?
Hey, I would like to send an email.
I'd be happy to help you send an email. To get started, could you please provide me with the recipient's email address and the subject of the email?
Yeah, this email is going to go to Carson Crockett and ask if he can have lunch on Friday.
So you want to send an email to Carson Crockett and ask if he can have lunch on Friday.
That's correct.
I will send an email to Carson Crockett asking if he can have lunch on Friday.
And just like that, in about 10 seconds, I was able to send this email using just my voice with an AI agent built on n8n. And you can see the email here. Hi Carson, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to check if you're available to have lunch on Friday. Let me know if that works for you. And so if you want to build this super simple workflow, as you can see here, it takes just about 5 minutes to set up. I'm going to walk you through how to create it in today's video. So to start off, just like any other n8n workflow, we are going to be using a trigger. And in this example, we are using a webhook trigger. Now, why is this? Well, it's because we're accessing Ultravox, which is this program right here. This is what we're using for the AI agent that we are talking to. This is that voice you heard in the beginning of this video in that sample call. So this is the agent we're talking to, the website we're talking to. And for n8n and Ultravox to communicate, we need this webhook, right? It's the trigger for this automation. Now to set up this webhook with Ultravox, it's super simple. So all you do is you create a webhook node, which you just go here to the plus button, type in webhook, and it's gonna pop up here. This is a webhook. This is how you add it to your canvas. Now I'm gonna delete the one I just made just because I already have one. So if I open up this webhook, this is what the trigger looks like. So at the top, we have two different types of URLs, and this URL is simply how n8n and Ultravox communicate. So we have a test URL and a production URL. So while we're just testing this workflow, we're going to use the test, and then production is when it's a live project that you're going to be accessing throughout the day. You're not going to be on n8n all the time. It's going to more run in the background. And so that when you would use production. For now, we're just testing it, so we'll stick with the test URL. Now from here, you can go ahead and customize the path. So you can see the path is right here. Changing this is simply just going to change the URL, right? So you can customize it, make it whatever you want. For this example, I'm just going to say test. For the HTTP method, we're going to be using post, and we're going to set that in Ultravox as well here in a second. And then down here, lastly, for respond, we're going to say using respond to webhook node, just because we are responding to this webhook using Ultravox. So this is how your webhook should look. Literally just copy this on your end. You're going to have a different URL, which you're supposed to. And besides that, you're good for now. So let's go into the next step, which is our email agent. Now, this is where things get cool. This is where you can really start customizing your AI automation. So to add an agent, very simple, go here to the plus button, go to AI, and then click on AI agent. And this is going to pull up a brand new agent for you to customize. Once again, I'm going to get out of this one and delete it just because I already have one created. Now you realize that mine says email agent. Why is that? Super simple. I just went up here and I typed the name as email agent, and that's how you can change the name of your node just to keep things organized. Now for the source for prompt, we're going to go ahead and set it as defined below, and we're going to type in this message json.body. Now what exactly is this doing? Well, it's simply accessing the information that we give to Ultravox by talking to it, and it's going to bring that information into this email agent for it to use. So basically typing JSON body here is just saying that you're going to be using the information you get from Ultravox to create this email. And you can see below here an example, since we just ran the test, you can see that it says to Carson Crockett and the content is, can you have lunch on Friday? And it says that because that is what I said to Ultravox. So it's basically carrying the information from Ultravox over to n8n and then over to this email agent. And that is because we're putting json.body here. Now this next step is super important. This is the system message, and this is how you're basically talking and communicating with the AI agent, and this is just in plain English. There's no coding needed. You're just talking to it like a human, and it's going to understand. And so I typed, you are Carson's personal AI assistant. Your job is to send emails for him. You'll be given a text input, could be notes, a message, or an idea, and your task is to convert it into a clear, friendly message. So that's the first part. We're just saying, why you were created, what your goal is. And now we're going to give it a couple of tools to help do this, right? It needs these resources to actually send the email. And so the two tools we're giving it access to is contacts and send email. And you can see here, if I exit that node, right here where it says tool beneath the AI agent, we connected Gmail and we connected Google Sheets. And you can see that the Google Sheets is called contacts and Gmail is called send email. And so we let the AI agent know it has access to this by saying the names of the nodes here, contacts and send email, and then the goal of each one and why it has access to that tool in the first place. And then lastly, I said if the email is sent successfully, output success. And you can see here, because we just ran the test, in the output, we do have the success message. So fairly simple how you set up this AI agent. Once again, you can just copy this, just fill it in with your own information. And that's the AI agent part. So just to recap what we've done so far, we've created the webhook trigger that's going to talk to Ultravox to trigger this automation. And I'll show you exactly how that works in a second. That's going to pass the information on to our AI agents, our email agents, and the email agent has access to two tools, and that is Gmail and Google Sheets. And so I'll show you how to optimize these here in 1 second. But first, I'm just going to talk about the chat model. I'm just using OpenAI's GPT 3.5 Turbo. I recommend this one. It's super fast and it understands clearly what you're talking about. So I would just set it as this. And now if you do not know how to connect your OpenAI account, I'm not going to go through this in this video just because you can look it up. It's fairly simple, very straightforward. So once you have it connected, just make sure it's selected here. And then, like I said, I recommend GPT 3.5 Turbo. All right, so on to the two tools that we gave this AI agent. So it has Gmail and Google Sheets. So if I go to Google Sheets, you can simply see that I connected my Google Sheets account, so it has access to it. For the tool description, I said set automatically, just makes things simple. Resource is going to be the sheet within document. And this document that we're accessing, I'll go ahead and show you here. So this is the Google Sheet that is connected to our AI agent. You can see it's super simple. All we have is name and email. It just keeps things simple, and it's really all the information you need if you have a simple AI agent like this. And so going back to n8n, you can see that the operation we're using is get rows. This is because we want these rows of information. These are the contacts we're accessing. And then for the document, it's going to be contacts because that is the name that I have for the Google Sheets. And then the sheet we're using is just sheet 1. You can see it down here in Google Sheets. It says sheet 1, right? So it's just making sure that n8n knows exactly which document we are accessing. And that's it for Google Sheets. This tool is very easy to set up. And so is this next tool for Gmail. So once again, you're going to want to connect your Gmail accounts. So I'm not going to show you how to do this once again. Just look up a quick tutorial and you'll learn how pretty fast. For the tool description, once again, set automatically. For the resource, set it as message because we are sending a message. And once again, for the operation, we're sending an email. So just click send for that. And then next we have to. So for to, it's basically just the person that we're sending the email to. And to do this, just keep it super simple. n8n has this amazing feature that makes it extremely easy for us to use tools like this. You can go ahead. Yours is going to be blank when you see it most likely. And when it is blank, just click the star button. And it's going to go ahead and say defined automatically by the model. And this basically just means it's going to fill out this information automatically because it knows what you're trying to accomplish and it knows the information to do so. We're going to do the same thing with subject. Once again, for you, it's probably going to be blank. Just go here, click on these little stars, and then it says defined automatically by the model. And then once again, do the same thing down here where it says message, and it's going to be, once again, defined automatically by the model. So it's as simple as that. It takes just a few clicks to get this all set up. And from here, we are almost done. The last thing we want to finish off this automation is a response to webhook. This basically just lets Ultravox know that once the email is sent, you're good, you're done, and your mission is accomplished. So very simple to set up this automation. Now next, we're going to go to Ultravox and we're going to set up this voice agent. So once you're in Ultravox, go ahead and go on the left here and go to agents. This is where we're going to create the agent that's going to communicate with n8n. So once you do that, go ahead and press new agent, and this is where you're going to create it. Now I'm just going to go back and go to my pre-created one because I already have one created for this workflow. And you'll see I have the exact same page as I just showed you. Now, starting off, you're going to name your AI agent. I just named it assistant, but you can name it whatever you'd like. Up here, you can choose the voice. So I'm just doing Mark for now. And then we're going to add a tool here in a second. But before we do that, we're going to go to system prompt. Now, this is very similar if we go back to n8n to the system message that we gave to our email agents. Okay, so you can see that we wrote in plain English here what we want this email agent to accomplish. And we're going to do the same thing with Ultravox. We're going to tell this voice agent what we want to accomplish in plain English. So I'm saying you are a friendly assistant and your job is to send an email using n8n. This should be executed immediately when the user provides the name and subject of the email. So that's basically just the instructions we're giving this voice agent on how to operate. So once again, you can use the same message, you can customize it, it's up to you, but it can be as simple as this. But now we need Ultravox to talk to n8n, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that now. So if you go to the left, you'll see a tab called Tools. Go ahead and click on Tools, And here we're going to go to custom and we're going to create our own tool. So go up here to the top right and press new tool. And this is going to open up where you can start creating your new tool. I'm just going to go back and select the one that I've already created so I can walk through with you how to create this tool. So once again, you're seeing the same page that I just opened up. It's just filled out because I already have it set up correctly. So for the tool name, I went ahead and named it n8n, and I set a description. And so I just said, send an email using n8n. This tool should be executed immediately when the user asks to email someone. And so once again, we're talking in plain English and we're telling this tool exactly what to do. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, we used a webhook trigger, and this is how n8n and Ultravox are going to communicate together. And so this is where we set up that part in Ultravox right here where it says integration. And so all you're doing here is where it says custom endpoint URL, you're going to copy that test URL inside of n8n. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to Ultravox and paste it right there. And like we did with n8n, just add it as post. For the timeout time, you can put 5 seconds. And now we're going to go down here to where it says parameters. Now, as simple as this automation is, this is probably the most complicated part, but I'll try to explain it as clearly as possible. So parameters is basically what the agent, the voice agent, so Ultravox, is expecting you to tell it once you're talking to it, right? And so in this case, we are going to need to provide Ultravox who the email is being sent to. And so this parameter name is to, and then also what the email is going to be about. And that parameter is called content. Because when n8n sends an email, it's going to need who the email is going to and what the email is about. And so go ahead and create a new parameter. To do this, we just go down here to add parameter, and it's going to go ahead and open up a new one. I'm going to delete it and go back up to the to and talk about how to set up this one. So for the parameter name, just name it to, and it's going to be dynamic because when we talk to this agent, the person that we send the email to might be different. And so it's not going to be the same every time. It's going to change. And so that's why we're setting it as dynamic. For the description, you can just put email recipient name. Now for the type, we're just going to put string because we're sending an email. And if you don't know, a string is basically just words. And so that's why we're going to put string. Location, we're going to set as body. And is it required? Yes, because we do want this agent to know who they're sending the email to and what it's going to be about. So yes, it's going to be required. And we're going to follow the same process for the content parameter. Once again, we're just going to name it content, set it as dynamic. And for the description, I just put email content. For the type, once again, it's going to be a string because we're using words. Location is going to be body, and then yes, it will be required. After that, the tool is created, and we're going to press save and go back to the agent that we just created and go to edit up here in the top right. And where it says tools, you're going to go ahead and select that one you just created. I named mine n8n, and you can see it right here. So once you add it to the assistant, go ahead and press save, and you're done. You just created an automation using n8n and Ultravox to be able to talk to an AI agent and send an email with just your voice. Now, of course, we want to test this to make sure everything is working. So I'm going to go back to n8n, and because we're testing this, I'm going to go ahead and press execute workflow. And you can see the webhook trigger is saying, waiting for you to call the test URL. And so it's just saying, I'm waiting for you to talk to Ultravox. So we're going to go to Ultravox and we're going to press test agent.
Hello, thank you for calling. How can I assist you today?
I would like to send an email.
To send an email, I will need to know the recipient's name and the content of the email.
The email is for Carson Crockett, and I would like to see if he can have lunch on Friday. And you can see right here that the automation is working. And just like that, we're going to go ahead and check the email to see if Ultravox actually sent it.
It looks like the automation is working, and the email should have been sent to Carson Crockett with the content, "Can you have lunch on Friday?" Let's check the email to confirm if it was sent successfully.
And just like that, Ultravox is confirming that it did send the email. So I'm going to go ahead and press end call and check my email to make sure it was actually sent. And just like that, we received the email. The subject is lunch on Friday, and it says, "Hey Carson, I hope you're doing well. Are you available for lunch on Friday? Let me know if you're free to catch up over a meal. Looking forward to it." And just like that, you created your own AI agent that goes ahead and sends emails for you with just your voice. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to see more n8n automations, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.